Well, hello there, and welcome from the polytunnel again. So today I want to talk to you about collapsing the timelines into 5D and what that's all about. So it all begins when we start to get a different perception of time. And one of the things that we realize as shamans and we learn with our experience with plant medicines is the idea that linear time is an illusion, and that's a big step, but the much bigger step is to realise that in the vastness of and the totality of all that is, and every single moment that ever has existed or will exist is actually accessible to us concurrently. So that's a lot of fancy words to saying it's all going on the now, it's all now. Right. So if all moments exist in the now, that's really what I'm saying, all moments exist in the now, then that means that something that happened in the past is amenable to change and transformation. And this is a truly great gift. So what I want to do now is to talk about the implications of all that. So particularly at this time, so many people are going through healing journeys, pretty much whether they want to or not. Things are just coming up to be healed and released. It's a very common story at the moment. So if this is happening to you, what I'm inviting you to realize is, if you are having memories coming up from the past, this is your opportunity. And the opportunity is to feel whatever feeling there is. And I had an instant like that only last night. I was sitting exactly where I am now, and this memory came up for the past, and it was really uncomfortable. And I thought, okay, it's really uncomfortable. Let's just feel how uncomfortable that is. And that's what I needed to do. I needed to fully embrace the uncomfortableness of that memory, because it was something to do with the present time, and it triggered this past memory, and it was something I didn't feel too good about. Well, just go for it, go for it, go for it. So when we feel and we fully abandon ourselves to the feeling of these instants in the past, it gives us an opportunity to do something quite remarkable. And I would say that this is where this part of the 21st century is heading. I would say we are all heading to the realization which I want to express now, which is that everything that ever is, was and shall be is what it is. And I want to credit my good friend David the Shaman Chef for this one, because I tend to notice that certain shamans have particular catchphrases, and this is his. His is, it is what it is. And if it is what it is, then there's an opportunity. And the opportunity begins with dropping into accepting. That's what it means. When he says it is what it is, he's saying this is an opportunity, an invitation to accept life as it is. And when we inhabit that place of acceptance, we find ourselves on a trajectory which only gets more and more interesting and more powerful as you go along it. So out of acceptance comes the next thing, and the next state is appreciation. When we start to appreciate, and I received a email only a few days ago from someone, and she was speaking about how someone that has really pissed her off a lot over the years, but most particularly recently she started to realize that his behavior, which was pissing her off, was actually propelling her towards insights and healing. So that's an interesting idea. So all the people that ever piss you off, it could be maybe they are the bit part players in your journey, whereby they're actually nudging you into the point which I'm describing, which is the is what it is moment, that everything is in the now, which then results in the acceptance, and we then take it into appreciation, and we can then give thanks. And if you ever do give thanks to someone that really wound you up massively, that's a wonderful thing to do. And then it goes into the sense of enjoyment and the sense of delight, and eventually you end up in a state of bliss. And this is possible to access from all points we've ever experienced. So here's the thing, if you've had a lot of severe traumas in your life, you're one of the lucky ones. You're ahead of the game, because having been blattered and battered so many times and having stood up after the next battering and the next battering and whatever, you realise, right, this is me, I'm doing my life, whatever it throws at me, I'm just going to keep on, I'm just going to keep on, I'm going to keep on. Unbending intent, unbending intent. One of those wonderful qualities of a shamanic practitioner, and people who've got real experience of the plant medicines. So can you see that when you drop into the idea that everything that ever has happened, is happening and will happening is actually an opportunity, a contribution, something on your journey which is catalysing more evolution, no matter how unpleasant, irritating, maddening or frustrating it may happen to feel at the moment, you've got the ability with your memory to be able to let the memory come up, feel the feelings and then thank it for what it is. And when you're able to do this journey, the acceptance, the appreciation, the delight, the joy, the bliss, all of a sudden you realise, hey, I've left 3D reality behind and I'm now in 5D. This is what 5D reality is. The only change between the 5D and the 3D is the point of perception. If you stay stuck in judgments and opinions and condemnation and criticism and all that state, that's 3D. We know about that. We've all experienced that for most of our lives, maybe nearly all of our lives. Judging other people, judging ourselves, criticising other people, criticising the state of the world, criticising the politicians, criticising this, criticising that, complaining. This is all 3D stuff. So judgment, criticism, complaining, whining, moaning, and all the rest. That's what we're used to. That's the old 3D. And in fact, I'm having a great little moment going on here because I've got little creatures crawling on my left ear because it's that time in the polytunnel. Lots and lots of creatures are coming here to feed off the plants, and one or two of them are just tickling my left ear, and it's like, okay, that's what it is. It is what it is. They're making a film when they're tickling my ear, and I can go into, well, this is me having an experience, and that's the great power I got from working with the ayahuasca medicine years and years ago. This is me having an experience. This is you having an experience. And when we can shift into appreciation, delight, joy and bliss, 5D, just like that. So what we're doing is we're dancing between 3D and 5D. And that's appropriate at this time. And I can just rub my ear because it's like I just feel it wants to have a little rub because it's had a little tickle. And this is it. So that is how we collapse the timelines into 5D. So what is all this about collapsing the timelines? Let me explain about that. At any moment I've got the choice of a whole variety of states I can go into. I can go into a very vague moan or a bit of a whine or a bit of a complaint or a bit of a criticism, or I could start judging people and myself harsh. I can go into all that, and these are all timelines associated with a 3D reality. And there comes a point, I'm sure this has happened to you, and you just get this feeling, change the record, let's move on. And I like to quote this particular film which I see. Instantly it comes to my mind's eye. It's a Vietnamese woman, and she's being tortured together with two other Vietnamese women. She's tied to a post. Honey's been smeared on their bodies and ants are eating at their skin, and it's horrific. And the two women are screaming. And this third woman, the woman who's the subject of the whole film, at the very beginning she starts to cry out like the rest of them. She just drops into the, it is what it is. And I could argue that she grasped the fundamentals of Buddhism in that moment, Buddhist society and culture. And into acceptance, and changing your attitude, changing your perspective, changing how you perceive something. Such a gift. So there you are, that's collapsing the timelines from 3D into 5D. Thank you very much indeed, and cheers for now.